Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I've been spending some time on putting together a more up-to-date guide for Gridshot, and this is everything that I've learnt so far. Here's a brief summary of what the video is going to contain, so feel free to skip to an area if you want to. I'll be going over my settings first and then target choice. This section will outline spawn order versus target distance and which one you should be going for. Click stuttering and dead end flicking. I still suffer from this from time to time, and it's where you lock up and stop shooting. Conscious versus subconscious aiming and how to use this in your runs. For training over 100k, you will need to be using as much subconscious aiming as possible. Training for speed. This area will highlight how to get faster and the method I use. Training for accuracy. This section will focus on the importance of maintaining high precision in your runs. Best practice and run analysis. This will dictate your areas of weakness and what you should be looking into for improvement. And finally, some example runs. Okay, so audio settings. The only things I changed here was the hit sound to default metal 2 and the weapon volume to 0 so that the misses don't distract me. For graphic settings, I'm using full screen exclusive on 144Hz. You need to use full screen exclusive for the 0 ultra low latency option here. I've set my graphics to fastest and turned off all of the effects. For controls, I'm using the Valorant option with the sensitivity 0.629 and I'm on 400 dpi. Everything else should still be default. These are the crosshair settings for anyone wanting to copy them. I don't change these often, it's only when it clashes with a certain task like using green in the recent Halloween event. The only thing I've changed in game settings is the weapon visibility, which is set to off. And for key binding, the only thing I've unbound is the ADS because I accidentally click it sometimes. And last but not least, here are the grey box settings. Okay, so our first topic is target choice. For this, you want to be avoiding shooting the newest target that spawned. The reason for this is because it takes time for your brain to register a newly spawned target, and that conscious decision can throw you off your run. Instead, what you should aim to be doing is shooting the targets that are already presented to you and using the newest spawned targets to forward plan your path. Ideally, your run should be a constant flow of targets, so try to avoid using any double clicks or shooting in bursts. If you feel like it's difficult to do this, then I'd highly advise to just take it slower. It seems counterintuitive, but it really does help. You can measure this with time taken to register the new target and shoot it versus immediately aiming to a known target. When you start hitting above 80 and 90k, then target path becomes a lot more vital to ensure you keep a constant flow of targets. Click stuttering and dead end flicking. There can be a number of reasons for this happening, and one of them is target choice, which was mentioned in topic 1. If you are choosing to shoot a new target because you've seen that it's closer, then it's likely to cause you to fall behind on your target path and a miss will soon follow. This complicates the speed you're trying to output and hence a stutter, because you now need to register the new targets and resume your run. Another cause for this can be shooting bunched up targets at a faster speed. This will put your body in a state of getting ahead of itself, and when a target of further distance spawns, you'll want to maintain this speed, but it's more likely to end in a miss, which is why it's super important to reinforce all flicks at an equal rate so that you don't nurture some interactions over others. This way you will help your weaker interactions to be as close to the speed as possible. After some decent level of mastery of this, you will start to learn how much time you need to make that flick and be able to adjust your speed accordingly. I would take a guess that players around 100k should already be at this level. The dead end flicking side comes from shooting in bursts and not having a constant flow of targets, which was also mentioned in topic 1. My main advice for this section is if you struggle with any click stuttering, then honestly just practice warming up by going painfully slow and completing full runs with no interruptions. The key here is to make early decisions about your next target, and not giving your current shot too much focus. You need to be learning from your aim. Okay, so next is conscious versus subconscious aiming. What this means for conscious aiming is that you're giving focus to your shot, usually by looking at where your crosshair is going to shoot. This is more precise, but in order to hit the higher score brackets, you will need to be using a lot more subconscious aiming instead. This means that you only need visual input of a target to be able to shoot it. This allows you to focus on forward planning your path to prevent any stutters. For me personally, I tend to look one target ahead of the one I'm shooting, just because I've been training for quite a while now and I'm trusting my aim to hit the shot. This is because the movements that follow have to be executed in a fast pace. This is where the true definition of flick comes into play. The rapid movement of your arm to hit a shot without truly being conscious about whether you're going to hit it or not. Training for speed. This is one of the main categories that people get stuck in. My favourite approach so far is using a rhythm or a metronome to adhere to. I know I've mentioned this before, but this is because you have something to play against instead of your own scale, which may lead you to favour some interactions over others and suffer in other areas. I would only suggest increasing your speed by around 0.5 clicks per second once you are able to perform a good 95% accuracy run from the speed below. This is because the interactions you've learned from that speed bracket will help you ease into the new one. You will start to miss a lot more, but it's just a grinding process and then keep on repeating. You can perform a click test online and you should see that you can click much faster than your high scores kills per second, which proves that it's just the aiming side of things that needs the practice. I managed to click 7.4 times per second and only just now, after 5-6 months of daily Gridshot training, managed to hit 6.1 kps. What I mean by this is that it's taken a very long time of grinding out slower speed brackets with trial and error to get here. Training for accuracy. This is probably one of the most important factors in Gridshot. You need to be able to hit the shots in order to progress further and get better scores. I split about half of my training between training accuracy and training speed, so try not to make all of the runs about going as fast as you can. This side of the training focuses on reinforcing the movements so that you get used to them, and you should definitely be favouring accuracy over speed in this mode, but it does take both types of practice to progress. 1, so you can hit the shots, 2, so you can get used to the new flick speeds. I find it's best to warm up by going slow and pushing for 100% accuracy runs, then slowly speeding up each time. Take note to any overflicks or underflicks in your runs and ensuring that you try a new motion next time they appear. Best practice and run analysis. This section requires key attention in your runs and you need to be identifying targets that you constantly miss and any motions that you feel awkward. You must remember that when you see this interaction again, that you try a different movement and see where your shot ends up. If you try to speed up before any of this work is done, you will form bad habits like I have, where an interaction has to be completely retrained. Pay attention to areas that will slow you down. This informs you that those motions are not particularly comfortable with you yet, and this is the stage where you can only progress by training both accuracy and speed with trial and error. If you can hit the motion in the score bracket below, then you just need to train speed and keep on testing that motion. Look for any areas where you're shooting some targets fast and focus on keeping that flow going. Try not to complicate your speed by varying it too much and causing any delays. Okay, so first we're going to be starting at around 40k. For this we need to be going at around 2.5 clicks per second, so just take it nice and easy and just focus on hitting the shots. Okay, so now that we've hit 40k, if this feels like a natural rhythm and you're wanting to speed up and break out of it, I recommend you test clicking the fastest rhythm first like this. This is the 40k rhythm, and now the new rhythm, which is about 3 clicks per second. Now I'm going to practice aiming whilst keeping this constant rhythm. This is where the aim training kicks in and teaches you to increase your flick speed. Okay, so practicing for that is going to take quite a while, but once we've hit 50k and it's comfortable and you've worked it up to 95% accuracy, then we're going to repeat the process and take our new clicking speed to practice against. Of course you're going to be missing a lot more now, but we're using the knowledge of the previous speed to hit most of the shots. This is where it's now important to notice which shots are getting missed and practicing the full motion. Okay, so now I've hit 60-70k and it's going to be exactly the same again. This is where the clicks are getting much quicker now, so it's tougher to train. You just have to persevere and stick to it. Force that faster clicking and teach yourself to flick faster in time. This is going to take a while to get the hang of and push through. Okay, and now it's same again. Just keep on repeating this process. Keep on reinforcing your accuracy and then training for speed. If you can click at this speed, then you can definitely do it. It's just finding the right motion, which can only come from practice. At this point you should be able to shoot targets without having to give them too much focus, so you can plan out your target path and prevent stutters. Okay, now that we're reaching over 100k, again just force the faster click rhythm and train in your aim. It's taken me a good 5-6 months to push into these stages, so it's a lot of trial and error. And this is where you truly start training, where you can vary your speeds and your runs by shooting bunched up targets at your fastest pace, which is a whole new bracket of training itself. Okay, and that wraps it up, guys. No secret ingredient, just practice and proper analysis. Progress takes time. It might be a week, it might be a month. I hope this vid has helped highlight some of the issues you have in your runs, because some of these points have definitely trapped me and had me stuck and performing the same mistakes in each run. Thanks for watching, and as always, any suggestions welcome in the comments below. Good luck in your runs and see you in the next one.